To Subramani. One advantage of being a personal investor and not managing other people's money is I don't need to be trapped in a particular style. So, am I a value investor? Yes. So, do I like Naren and Roshi Jain kind of strategy? Answer is yes. Does it mean I won't look at growth? No, I will look at growth. So, being a contrarian is useful for big fund managers because it allows them to take multiple views on the market. So they run a growth plan, a growth fund, they will run a contra fund and things like that. For me, I have to wear all the hats at different points in time. So one very important criteria for me is to look at the dividend that I get from the company that I buy, which when I started doing maybe in 1980s, I didn't even know this was called value investing, right? So that is not a time when you understand all those words. Today it's called value investing or dividend based investing, right? So as a dividend growth investor, my job is to create a portfolio of companies which pay very good dividends, right? So when I say which pay very good dividends, I also mean companies which are currently paying very good dividends and those companies which have a potential for paying very high dividends. So I would be buying a share today which I know will not pay dividends for the next 5-10 years, and after 10 years it will become a very good share, right? So every big company, Apple, Microsoft, everybody has done that. But when I look at the American portfolio, I would look at say Johnson and Johnson, McDonald's, maybe even Colgate, who have been who were hit very badly, say in 1987. In 2000 they didn't get hit so much, it was more a tech meltdown, but these are shares which you would go and acquire especially when the market falls. So now it is very important for people to realize that when you do this, you have to build a balanced portfolio. You need PSU, you need MNC, you need commodity, you need a combination. So if you built your portfolio saying, oh, I've got all my money in Vedanta, what happens when the metal cycle goes wrong? Or if you have all the money in Coal India, BPCL, HPCL, then you're only in energy or you're only in PSU. So I build a portfolio which has got all this, where I'm getting good dividend yield. There are some shares in which in 1 year, 1.5 years, I'm getting something like a 10% dividend yield. The advantage is when these share prices fall, there is a limit to how much it will fall because everybody else would also be chasing dividend, right? So I can't see a Coal India falling much below 220, right? Maybe 230 is the price. So 220 is a good price to target for you to buy more, simply because I don't think it will fall much below that given the dividend yield. So it becomes easier to build a dividend yield portfolio because you don't have to worry about fluctuation, but you have to keep your mind and brain alert saying, oh, when now let me go to American examples, when a J&J or a Philip Morris or a McDonald's falls, it's a great time to be buying because the edge is still there, the same business will grow. However, when you're doing this, you have to be also careful to see that you don't excessively have concentration on one type like PSU or energy or metal or something like that, because when that tide turns, you could be in trouble. For example, I'm very happy buying Colgate Palmolive in India also, simply because you know that when it is out of favor in the market and you're getting decent dividend yield or at a lower PE, some of these MNC PEs don't change. So it's like real estate price in Marine Drive, right? The prices don't fall. Whatever happens in Mira Road, Dadar, Bandra, doesn't matter. But this South Bombay prime estate prices don't fall. So our MNC stocks in India, the PNG, 3M and all, have a very small range in which they fluctuate. So you can't really build too much of a portfolio for dividend yield based on MNC. But if you have built it in the past, like in my case, built it in the 70s, 80s, 90s and bought more of it, then it is possible to have a dividend yield portfolio with MNC stocks also. So you could have MNC, you could have good Indian companies, you could have PSU, you could have a combination of portfolio, so that when one goes wrong, then you are not worried too much because you've got 4-5 streams of income. You have something like a TCS which gives you quarterly dividend. Most other companies give annual dividend. Somebody who could give interim and final. Coromandel International pays a dividend, EID Parry receives it, and then EID Parry makes a interim dividend because they have to wait for the dividend to come because EID Parry is the holding company for Coromandel. So some of these things happen. So you can plan your cash flow, or you say whenever I get dividend I will put it in a liquid fund and use it whenever I need. That's one way of looking at it. Or you let everything lie in the savings bank account. So these are various methods of accumulating stocks and creating your dividend portfolio, because I somehow find that a dividend portfolio is much better than a capital gain portfolio, because capital gain portfolio is subject to market timing, which I have never been proved to be good at. So I've been lucky that I bought during bad times, but it's not as though I use my brain a bit. I would rather put money in the balance advantage fund and get the fund manager to think whether he should be putting more in equity or more in debt, right? You should also remember dividend yield portfolio is not some fill it, fit it, forget it, the Hero Honda ad types, right? So you could do that, but you have to be alert to saying, okay, is the market share slipping? Why is this company EPS going down? Why is the RONW going down? Why are they spending more on advertising? Is their market share going down? What is happening? You have to pay attention to that. You cannot just say, oh, I bought Kodak and Xerox and now I don't have to do anything. Maybe it was good buy long back, but today they may not be good ones. So you have to be attentive to what is happening in the market. You cannot just say, oh, I bought it and forgotten it. Yes, so 50 years Johnson & Johnson has paid dividends in the US. Similarly, your HDFC Limited would have paid dividends for very long periods of time. HDFC Bank was 1 year stopped from paying dividend by the great regulator. I have no clue why, but they did it. So you have to, if all your money was in HDFC Bank and 1 year you didn't get dividend, and that year the share was also doing badly, you would be really stuck, right? So creating a diversified portfolio is necessary, and being alert to changes which are happening in the business, right? So if there is a company which is coming and competing with HDFC Bank or Colgate or P&G or Pfizer or any of those companies or Nestle, then you have to be worried seeing what is happening. Normally when these share prices fall, it's a great opportunity to be buying. However, it may not be true, right? So if you see foreign banks like Citi and Shansi were beaten out of business by HDFC and ICICI. So if they were listed, maybe their PE should go down. If Visa were listed in India, its PE should go down and RuPay PE should go up, right? UPI has come, RuPay has come. They've really created a dent on Visa. So some of these changes will happen. Visa is a very good dividend yield stock if you bought it over long periods of time. So dividend investing is very simple, that you build your portfolio over long periods of time. You stay alert to what is happening about the company. You cannot blindly say, oh, I bought it, I will just forget it for 40 years. Not true, not possible. You may have to do a rupee cost averaging way to acquire. You may not go and buy, say, 1 crore worth of Bharti overnight. Of course, you can buy, market gives you, but you may not have the guts to do it. So you will build it over a period of time. I mean, I still can't do such big transactions like saying, oh, I'll buy all my requirement in one day. My requirements get built over, my portfolio gets built over a long period of time, where you, again, sometimes you water the weeds and plug the flowers. Sometimes you pluck the weeds and water the flowers. So you will do a combination of all this. That is the way to build the portfolio. Not just say, oh, I bought, Subra gave me this list of 12 shares, I bought them and now I can sleep for the next 30 years. No, you have to be attentive. Next 30 years means 30 into 420 decisions to stay on with an ONGC or a Procter & Gamble or a Colgate or a Cholamandalam, whatever it is, right? So whenever I mention these companies, please assume that I have it in my portfolio. So I'm long in that because I rarely go short. So this is how the portfolio gets built, and this is the dividend, of course, is a reward for sitting tight. You get the money. When you're young, you buy more shares. When you're old, you spend that money. That's how the dividend portfolio has to be built and used. Thank you.